There we are.
Welcome to another show of Insiders Elite. Happy Saturday or Friday, wherever you are. I'm absolutely pumped today because we get to talk about a topic that Jamie and I are both passionate about. As we know, UPW, personal event seminars, UPW's on right now. We've both been to them, Jamie probably multiple times, and we talk about the impact it has and if it's going to change your life or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're going to dig in deep today here. I shared a post there. I think it was yesterday, the day before. And oh my God, it got some controversy going. How dare you say Tony Robbins isn't going to change my life? This program's done this, that's done all that stuff. But here's the real truth behind it. Yeah, Tony's a rock star. He gets up on stage, he creates breakthroughs, he makes shit happen. Now, this is absolutely no joke. But here's the thing. It's not about the event. The event is the spark. I mean, I put in my post there, I started talking about Bonfire Heart, that song by James Blunt. It says, you light the spark in my bonfire heart. Okay, here's the thing, though. We got to feed the fire. It's what happens at the event, what happens at the seminar is absolutely outstanding. But I'll tell you what's even more impactful is what happens after the seminar. And that's what we're going to jump into today. Mick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've both been. We've been to most of Tony's events. We've been to other events. Now, I'm curious, a little bit of your feedback, and I'll share some of my feedback too. What typically happens? And think back to the beginning when you started. I know that was quite a while ago. That was a long time ago. But if you can think back that far, think back to some of the very first events that you went to, and then what happened immediately after.
So for me, the very first sort of major personal development event was UPW that I went to. And what happened was I went to UPW and looked literally mind blown, unbelievable event. Like I was on this incredible high, like sky high. I was that high, I signed up to all these other programs, like I was just absolutely juiced. It had changed, it felt like it had changed my life forever. And come back to reality and start working on the things that you learn there and you plateau out. Yeah. One thing I know is think of it like going to UPW is like standing at the top of a big hill. You fly down the hill and you are cruising. But eventually you come to another hill. And if you don't do any pedaling, you're going to stop. And you'll be right back where you were sitting still. So UPW is great. It builds momentum, but if you don't then finish it and keep pedaling, you are going to stop and it's not going to change your life. What it will do, give you that momentum to change your life if you do the work, if you pedal your bike. If you don't pedal your bike, you'll eventually just stop and you'll end up sitting back where you were, sitting on a bike doing nothing. So, that for me, one thing that really got a lot more benefit out of it for me is I started to plateau, but I had a coach who then continued to build on what I'd learned. So we kept the momentum going and kept working on things and kept processing and went to other events and kept the momentum going. So it's not about just going to one event and it changes your life. You've got to do the work.
Yeah, that's huge. I remember thinking back to my first event and it's like, yeah, this is going to do it all. This is going to give me every single piece that I need to take and build my business or get me back on the right track or change my mindset or everything. And you know what? When I was at the event, it was fucking brilliant. I felt amazing. I was on like cloud 9, cloud 10, cloud 11. Think back to my very first Unleash the Power Within event, right? I jumped up and down so much. I was putting on 13, 14, 15,000 steps and I wasn't moving in more than like a 10-foot or, 3-meter radius. It was just absolutely insane. I was moving in this little area and I'm putting on 13, 14,000 steps. But here's the thing that happened after, because I just believed that's all I had to do. Yeah, there was other things they were talking about at the events. Oh, do this, sign up for this and do this. I'm like, that's just a sales thing. I don't need none of that shit because I've got this figured out. I went, I attended the event, I got it under control. But here's the thing, because it was something new, I was resistant to taking any extra action. I just really believed, okay, I got this one thing. That's all I need. I'm going to be set up for the rest of my life. I don't need a coach. I don't need a mentor. I don't need nothing. I just saw Tony Robbins on the stage. He's given me everything I need. But you see, that's not the truth. That's really not the truth. I recognized quickly, right? It took me, I'd say probably 2.5 months, right? 2.5, maybe 3 months. All of a sudden I was back to where I was, and hear this story. Okay. This story is epic, because I started telling myself, well, this shit doesn't work. That was dumb. I just wasted my money. I paid for the good tickets. I paid $2,500, $3,000 a ticket, and this stuff doesn't do anything. But here's where I was wrong. Because it's not some person, whether it's Tony Robbins, whether it's Kerwin, whether it's Gary, whoever it is standing up on that stage, it's not those people doing it. It's what we do with that knowledge and how we apply it immediately after. See, my fault, where I totally went wrong on this, is I did almost nothing with it. Sure, there were some tools that were given at the seminar. I began practicing them. But what happened when there was really no accountability? When I didn't recognize the value of accountability the same way I recognize it today. I'd go home, for a week or 2 or 3, then pretty soon it's every second day. Then maybe it's once a week. Then maybe it's once a month. And then before I know it, I'm right back to where I was, or even worse. Right, for me, that moment, I remember telling myself the story, well, this shit doesn't work. This shit doesn't work. And I found myself in this place, and I started thinking, I started recalling, well, when I was there, it was really good. When I was there, I was in that space, in that place, in that zone. It was filling me up. I was in absolute rapture in that place. And then boom, nothing. It's like, well, what would help me maintain that? What would help me keep it going? Right? It was me recognizing that I had to do something different. Now, let's face it. When we do something new for the first time, it can feel really awkward. It can even hurt sometimes. But when we start to get into it, when we allow ourselves to open up and receive all that's there, all of a sudden it starts to feel really good. And that was the big difference for me. I decided, look, Jamie, what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing isn't getting you to the place that you need to be at. You need to go do something different. So I had to open myself up to that. I had to be willing to receive it. And when I did, shit started changing in a really, really, really big way. It wasn't, Tony Robbins on the stage. It was me taking those subsequent actions, getting that coach, getting that mentor, someone who had done it, someone who had been there that could help me radically. And
Jamie, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there, and that's an awesome story. And thanks so much for sharing. I've had similar conversations. You're not alone with other people who have been to these events, and I've paid all this money to all these events, and what a waste of money, because it hasn't changed anything. It's done nothing for us. I'm not spending any more money on personal development. It's a waste.
Hallelujah.
But in saying that, they don't do the work either. So you go to these events to build momentum, get the tools, have breakthroughs, but then you've got to practice, because, like you say, a new pair of jeans, if you only wore them once and judged how they are by the first time you wear them, you probably never wear them again, because they feel awkward and stiff and not amazing, But look at your favorite pair of jeans now. They're worn in, they're comfy, you wear them every day. So it's one of those things. You've got to do the work, and I'm forever grateful for Jamie, because as a part of some of the programs I signed up to with Tony Robbins and UPW, I was assigned Jamie as my coach, and forever grateful, because Jamie held me to account to implement these things, to continue doing the work, and it was a little while before the coaching started, maybe 2-3 months after the event, by the time it signed up and got happened and organized in times, and and I was just hitting that plateau, starting to stop and starting to lose momentum. And then I started with Jamie, and it was that was one of the things that really got the most out of it for me, is because, and then it really reinforced the power of coaching for me, and having a mentor, having someone to hold you to account, having someone who's done it before to hold your hand or to push you when you need to be pushed. So that's one thing, that was massive for me, was having a coach to follow up. And you said before, you went, I don't need to buy all that stuff. It's all just a sales pitch. At the time, that can seem like that. And the reason they do that is, they want you to buy the program and grow their business. Don't get me wrong, they're running a business, so they want you to buy the next program. But they also understand that you need the next program, or you need the coaching, or you need the next bit to get the real results. They sign you up and say, you want to get 100 grand, you want to make 100 grand in 90 days? Sweet. Here's my $3,000 program. But really, if you want to make 100 grand in 90 days, you really need to be in the bigger program where there's coaching, where there's all the other stuff. Like, it's the reality is that's just how it works.
Yeah.
That you need that next step. Most people do anyway.
Yeah. And that's what's going to make all the difference. Whether you get your results or not is completely dependent on the amount that you're willing to invest in yourself. Now, this isn't just a money thing, right? And when I say amount, it's not just cash. It's the time. It's the effort. It's the practice. You will need to invest your own time into yourself. You will need to practice over and over and over. There are things that I've done, tools that I've used that I've practiced thousands of times to get to this level of mastery. I'll share another quick story here. This morning with the amazing real estate group that I work with, there was a request asked, like, Jamie, how do you stay in this energy? Like, dude, you're always this freaking Energizer bunny. You're just going out there. You've got all this energy. You're bouncing around. How do you do it? Like, what's your recipe? What's your secret sauce? Now, I've trained this particular group on my Pentagon of Power. I've gone through, I've trained them, but they wanted more. They wanted to know what the practices were that I do. They wanted to know all these things. And because I've practiced, because I invested in myself. I mean, Mick, you and I, we've done some adding up. We've talked about this on other shows of how much we've invested into ourselves. It's well in excess of 6 figures. Absolutely well in excess of 6 figures in that personal development. It's what enabled me within literally, I don't know, I think it was about 15 minutes before I went live. And I do a live training like this. I'm in front of them, I'm on cam. It was literally 15 minutes before I'm like, okay, these people want to know, how do I create that state? How do I maintain it? What do I have to do? So quite literally 15 minutes before, I've got a Word doc, and it's actually on my desktop still right now because I just created it this morning. I came up with 6 different areas that I get really focused on, where I take action, what I do, how I set my standards, and boom, I had the training done. It was ready to go. See, that was being able to tap into that resourcefulness within me. And had I not put in the work, had I not put in the effort, had I just said, well, you know what, Tony Robbins, when he was on stage, when he was doing UPW, he didn't teach me how to do this. If that was my excuse, then I wouldn't be anywhere near to where I am. It is the investment you're willing to put in yourself and the size of it. For me, it was time. In my mentorship with Kerwin, right? When I sat down with Kerwin, we talked about mastery. I've mentioned this before. And without a hesitation or even a second of doubt, I asked him about mastery. He goes, 10,000 hours or 10,000 times. Right? It was just complete, absolute matter of fact. What gets you there, though? It's not going to the event once. It's not attending one UPW or one nail it and scale it or doing that. It's the repetition, and it's the maintenance of that knowledge and the application of that knowledge over and over and over. That's what sets us up. That's what puts us in that place where we get to become those masters. You want to do anything? Be prepared to invest in yourself. Give yourself that big investment, because Mick and I, that's what we've done. For us now doing this, I mean, Mick coaches. Mick's got an amazing, incredible coaching business, Awaken business, that he works with people all around the world. Now, here's the thing with Mick. I'm probably talking for him. I shouldn't be saying this, but he's extremely selective in who he chooses to work with. He's extremely selective because what he does changes business owners' complete lives, complete businesses. It's absolutely amazing. He gets to be selective because he stepped into that place of mastery. He's done it. He's taken the programs, the university, everything, and put it all to work. And that's really what we're looking to do here. Put that investment in ourselves, in that time and everything, so that you can step it up to the next level. What do you think about that?
Wow. Thanks for that, Jamie. Appreciate it. And look, exactly right. Putting in the work, and it's not the amount of money you've spent, but it's the hours and the time. Probably less impressive, if I say I've spent $150,000 on personal development, or if I say I've spent 150,000 hours on development. Where the masteries come from is the hours, not the dollars. You can spend money all you want, but if you don't put in the hours to do the work, then you're never going to master anything. Yeah. Look at me. I'm a tradesman. I'm an electrician. I put in 4 years worth of hours doing 50 plus hours, 40, 50 hours a week to get good at it, just to get good enough to be able to be called a tradesman, and then it takes another 10 years before you've mastered the trade, and you're still learning. You put in the work. It's You can't just snap your fingers and learn a new skill, become a tradesman at your craft or a master at your craft. That's why a doctorate or a master's degree takes 7 years. I can't buy a master's degree or a doctorate at university for $200,000. You can pay the money, but if you don't do the work and the hours to master the skill, you don't get it. It's just that simple. You don't get to be called a doctor. You don't get to master that skill because you just haven't put in the hours and the work. And that's where, you mentioned it before. People could say, well, I went to that event and it didn't work. That's blaming someone else. You got to be accountable for your life. I went to the event and I couldn't make it work. It's not their fault it didn't work. The stuff that Tony teaches is freaking amazing. That shit works. I can vouch for that because it works. Jamie can vouch for that because he's implemented the stuff and it works. Lots of these events, lots of the stuff that people teach, whether it's Kerwin or Gary or Tony or Brendan Bouchard or any of these people, their stuff works because they've implemented it in their own life, but they do the work to master the skill. That's the one thing that if anyone gets one message out of this, it's personal development is about the work, the hours that you put in, not how much money you've spent on it.
Yep. Hallelujah on that. The money's not the measure. The money's not the measure. It's what you've done with the knowledge. I've been to programs where it's free. I mean, I'm putting a free program on right now. I must be insane to do it, but I'm putting on a free program. And some of the very knowledge that I'm sharing, I know for a fact it has gone out for $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 to get some of the very knowledge that I'm sharing. Why do I do it? Because I know it's in line with who I am as a person to be able to contribute, to be able to make a difference. Plus, I know that from that, I have a ton more that I have to give. I have just an absolute ton. What everyone's getting, I hate to say this because it sounds like, oh, maybe they're not getting enough. Anyone who's in the program knows I'm just giving flat out. The fact of the matter is this is quite literally just scratching the surface, much like a UPW. A UPW does a really, really, really great job of showing you what's possible. Tony gives you some great tools, right? For anyone that's been to the UPW, you know what this means when I got my fingers up my nose and I'm talking all funny. You guys know. You know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. When we take it to the next level, when we invest in ourselves by getting that mentor, learning everything else that we can, and then applying that knowledge, that's when we truly take it to the next level. If I can indulge in a story here, Mick, you were talking about trade hours, and it brought up a story in my mind. Some time ago, before I was a coach or anything like that, I was in the heavy equipment industry. So I am also a tradie. My background is trades. I had worked in the automotive parts field for years and years and years. Did all sorts of things in automotive parts, whether it was accessories, add-ons, lift kits, or standard parts, replacement parts, whatever it was, I did it. And I did it for years. Now, there was a time when I went to work for the world's largest Caterpillar dealership. I was working for them. The money was straight up, it was shit. I was barely making enough to get by. But there was in Canada, if any of you from Canada or know the area, there's the oil sands. And of course, money flows like oil up there. It's crazy, right? If you're not making 100 and 150 grand a year, you're doing something very, very, very wrong. If you've got a heartbeat, you could, back in the day, you could make that money without almost doing anything. I recognized very badly that I wanted to get up there. But here's the thing. I didn't have my ticket. I didn't have my trade qualification ticket. But here's where mastery came in. Because in most cases, I would have had to gone to school for 4 years. I would have had to go in, learn all this stuff, get all this knowledge so that I could take it up to the next level. But what had I done up to that point in time? I had gone in, doubled down on all the knowledge that I needed, and I worked, and I worked, and I worked. There was an opportunity to be able to challenge the exam. You needed 4,000 documented hours to be able to go in and actually challenge the exam. What was really great, and here's where the mastery part comes in, I submitted over 14,000 actual documented signed off hours of that. So needless to say, it was a no-brainer for me. I went in, wrote the exam, crushed it out, no problem. And before I knew it, I was up making that easy 6 figures. So that's where that mastery comes in. We've got to be willing to do the work. It also brings up the idea of instant gratification. Let's talk about that for a minute. Mick, does things just happen right away like that? We go to the seminar and boom, all of a sudden we've got everything that we need?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, and instant gratifications are one of those one of those topics in the current world. Lots of people, that's why social media is so successful, because people can look and you can get a like, you can throw something up and you can get some instant gratification, you know, and it feels good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't serve you long term. It doesn't.
No.
If you've got to put in the work to get the results. You might get lucky once or twice and some things will fall in your lap, but you've got to put in the work. You know, it's just how it is. The more you chase instant gratification, the less likely you'll be, in my eyes, to be successful.
Yeah. Instant gratification, I think if anything, it slows you down from your ultimate outcome. Yes, we want to have celebrations along the way. I'm big, right? Every single person, whether I'm coaching, I'm mentoring, I'm training, whatever it is that I'm doing, one of the first things I always do, they'll know, right? We start off with celebrations, because I want to recognize the forward momentum, recognize those steps that have been taken to get to this place. So yeah, we want to feel good about it. And we also have to recognize that to achieve those big goals, those big outcomes, it can very well much be a long game. Let's face it. I mean, I can tell myself all the stories that, yep, right, I'm going to see it. I'm going to apply the principles of The Secret, and $5 million is going to fall on my desk in the next 2 minutes. Now, what's great about that is if it actually does, you guys will see it. In all reality, though, what am I doing is I'm setting myself up for some disappointment here, because that shit ain't going to happen. There's no $5 million going to fall out of the sky, land on this desk in the next 2 minutes. Yes, I have to make my outcomes realistic. And at the same time, I know I'm going to make that $5,000. I picked that number very specifically. That's one of my goals that I've got set out there. One of my outcomes, one of the results that I'm working towards. I know it's happening. I also recognize, though, that it might be a little further off. Maybe it's going to take me a year or 2 years to hit that 5 million mark. Maybe it's going to take a little bit, and that's okay. I'm setting myself up for success by aligning my expectations within the correct time frame. So many people, right? They come out of these things. It's like, yes, I'm going to do it all, right? And yeah, we're on a high. And then they don't get those results immediately or right away. They don't get that instant gratification. And then they're back to that place. Well, why the hell did I do this? Did I just waste my money? And that's where everything changes.
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. And you said something there that was really interesting. It was having those expectations. And I know I've done it.
Yep.
You come out of one of these events and you set these massive goals that's going to happen in a really short amount of time, and you're like, this is so awesome, and you're such a high, you feel like anything is possible. This is well within this is super realistic. I can easily do that. I could easily make $1 million in a year. That's not a problem at all. You know, if I showed you my goal board from the very first personal development event, you'd be like, there's no way you could do that. Hey, there's a possibility and there's a chance you could have done this or that and make it happen, but realistically, it's probably not going to happen. So for me, having those, just having a taste of reality, and that's where it was really important having a coach, because then when you say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then they can just question that, probe that a little bit, maybe shift your thinking a bit to extend the time frame. Like, still, that can be an awesome goal. You're going to make $1 million or $5 million, whatever it is. But it's not going to happen in 3 months. That might be a 3-year goal or a 5-year goal. You know, and then there's the specific actions you need to take to get there. So let's start taking the actions. Let's start making progress.
Yeah. And that's really what it's all about, right? It is truly setting those realistic, right? And here's the thing. As a coach, if you're watching, if you're a coach out there, it's not up to you to tell your client what is realistic. You don't fully know, for the most part, I don't think, all the resources, all the resourcefulness, everything that your client is truly capable of. I've seen clients that are pulling stuff out that I would have never thought they could have done. It's like, they'd get on the phone and maybe they exhibited one type of personality or something like that. Then all of a sudden, here they are. Maybe the challenge was for them to go do a Facebook Live, or, get on live, Instagram Live or something like that, knowing, or at least me thinking that, wow, this is going to stretch them. And then I see them on the Instagram Live. I'm like, holy shit, is this even the same person? It's not up to us as coaches to be able to say, no, you can't achieve that. But it is up to us as coaches is maybe to ask some really great questions. Great. I mean, that sounds like an amazing goal. What are some of the actions you're going to take to do that? Because that in itself might be a really great question to start that thinking process. We come out of these events, we're on a high. There is no question whatsoever. Coming out of these events, here, I'll pick on Date with Destiny for a moment here. One of the challenges that was said is before you even go in, take a picture of yourself, right? Before you go in, take a selfie. When you come out, take a selfie. So Date with Destiny is a long program. It's 6 days, and it's 6 intensive days. We're talking 18-hour days. Like it's humongous, right? Go in, come out, take a picture at both different ends, and you will notice a radical change in your physiology. Not just that you're tired, you will notice a shift in who you are, and it's absolutely true. So you come out this different person, but you need that little extra sauce, that coach, that mentor, whoever it is, to help you stay through it. You want those changes to last? Do something about it. The learning, the knowledge, the practice does not end the moment the event or the seminar is over. This is to coin a phrase from Tony Robbins, this is a process of continuous and never-ending improvement. That's what this is. Absolutely.
And as soon as we shift that mindset away from going to this thing to solve it, or I'm going to go this and it's going to fix all my problems.
Yeah.
You know, you're the only person who can fix your problems. No event is going to do it for you, but what it will do is give you the tools and the knowledge and the skills to that if you apply them, it could solve a lot of your problems or put you on the path to success or teach you how to make that money. Or, you know, like making money is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics.
You bet.
You can get the skills and strategies and tools they're all over the web. People will teach you. It's 80% psychology. It's 80% about how you show up, your mindset, your energy, the way you deliver. So if it's 80%, it's your brain. It's not someone else's. They're only going to teach you the 20% of the mechanics and show you how you need to show up and teach you the physiology you need and the mental, the mindset that you need to be able to be successful. But it's your mind. If you don't maintain that mindset, if you don't maintain that energy, the way you show up, then you're back to where you were with the same mindset. And that's 80% of the challenge is all about psychology. So, you know, you got to be 100% accountable for your life. You're the center of every crime scene. You're in the middle of it.
Exactly. And I mean, look at Neil's comment right here. Accountability is massive. Yep. Right? There's no question about that whatsoever. We have to be accountable. We have to be accountable to ourselves, to our outcomes. Most importantly, though, we have to be accountable to doing what we said we would do.
So can I share a quick story there, Jamie?
Yeah, please do.
Back when Jamie and when I first met Jamie and he was coaching me, Simone, my wife, some of you may know her, we both had Jamie as a coach. And you know, like I talk about accountability, I'd, you know, it'd be end of the afternoon or something and my alarm would go off and say, hey, you got coaching call tomorrow morning. We're like, oh, shit, I haven't done the things I told Jamie I was going to do. Oh, no. I'd quickly work and try and get all the things done that I'd said to Jamie that I was going to get done. And Simone was the same. We were like, oh, no, Jamie's going to kick my ass. I need to get all this stuff done. And what that did is I was being held accountable by Jamie to take the action. It didn't benefit Jamie if I didn't do it. He didn't care. Like, it made no difference to him if I took the action or not. But I didn't, you know, like I was being held accountable to commit to the actions. I said I was going to do it. And, you know, I like to do the things I say I'm going to do. So I'm, you know, madly working until midnight the night before to get all the things done I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
Because that's accountability. That's taking action. And that's the things that's what you got to do to be able to master mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. See, what Mick's not telling you is he didn't want to get the question. It's like, what's the question? Well, the question that I used to ask my clients, and you know, back in the day when I was still coaching, I would ask them, how does you not taking the action towards your outcomes move you closer towards them? There's a little bit of an interesting language pattern going on there, but at the same time, is how does you not taking that action that you committed to get you closer to your results? Now, most oftentimes that question, it was answered with a whole lot of silence, right? Or the sheepish, it doesn't. But accountability is absolutely the key behind it all. I talk a lot about David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. And in it, he talks about the accountability mirror, putting up those outcomes, those goals, those standards of how he's living his life, and then standing in front of that accountability mirror, having it as the absolute truth. You know, I remember reading this part, and he said, you know, this is where you've got to get really real with yourself. If you're fat, tell yourself you're fat. If you're lazy, tell yourself you're fucking lazy. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't make it look better than it is. It's like, oh, I'm big boned, right? Screw that stuff. I mean, he was a big dude. He was, I don't know, like 300 some odd pounds, 310 pounds or something like that. And he wanted to get into the SEALs, right? He wanted to get in the SEALs. He had to do something about it. That accountability mirror exercise that he went through and he practiced and he doubled down on, it got him to that place. Accountability, even though, yeah, coaches, mentors and all that, that's something absolutely huge that they can help you with. But a really great coach, a really great mentor is going to teach you how to create accountability within yourself. Look what Mick did, right? He's like, oh my God, I got to get this done. Right, Simone and you, it's like, we got to get this done. We got to get this done before we get on the call. And even though I wasn't there, I wasn't, sitting in their living room or anything like that with them, they knew, and that began to create that accountability pattern with them. Our job as coaches and mentors is to nudge in the right direction and really help those clients. It's not to tell them what to do, although at times, me being coached myself, I sometimes really just needed to know the answer. I don't care how many times you would have asked me, well, how do you think you could do that, Jamie? Or, what resources do you think I don't fucking know. If I knew, I would honest to God apply it. This is not a trick thing. I don't fucking know. And that's where we start to talk about mentorship. Going and finding someone who's actually done it, who has the actual knowledge. I mean, coaches, I love you. I've done it myself and all that. But sometimes, trust me, no matter how many times or how many different ways you ask me, or if you could be even more resourceful right now in this situation, what might you come up with? Great question, and I have no fucking idea. Right? This is where that mentorship can come in really handy, help you out, and that's why you're seeing some of these extended offers and stuff when you're going to these live events and all that. And that's, hey, let's face it. I mean, that's how Mick and I, at least a part of our income, that's where that's coming from as well. Because we help those business operators really scale up, grow, and become business owners, true business owners.
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. And you've hit the nail on the head there. It's that accountability. And like you say, sometimes you just need the answer. You need someone, like Tony says this all the time, success leaves clues. Copy what someone else has done. Follow what they did. If they lost weight by eating 3 apples a day and exercising, go eat 3 apples a day and exercise if you want to lose weight. Yeah. So, like success leaves clues. If it's about making money, go see what these other people did. Oh, yeah, they bought houses and flipped them. They renovated them. Sweet. He made some money. Cool. I'm going to copy that. Yeah. Success leaves clues. Yeah. So follow the clues and take action. Do the things that work. And that's where a mentor is really important. If you're trying to grow a tradie business, find someone who's grown a tradie business and ask them how they did it. Become a mentor. There's heaps of people, if you're a business operator and you work in 70 hours a week and you are over it and you want to become a business owner, there's a guy called Jamie Adamchuk who's really cool. That's what he does. Go find someone who's done it and talk to them and work with them or engage them or whatever it is. Like Jamie's offering a free 14-day boot camp. Ridiculous. I said he was crazy giving it for free, but it's awesome. And like there's so much free resources out there to get the answers, get some knowledge, to work with these amazing people. So, it's not even about money. Your business could be struggling and you can't afford it. Go do this free boot camp. Oh, that way actually. Free boot camp and get some skills and knowledge and work with these people. So it's not about the money. It's about the time and effort you put in. There's so many, if it's to get the knowledge and to find the people, they're available. And there's so much, most good business people, they've got a free ebook or some free information. If you go to Kerwin, he's got a half a dozen free ebooks that you can get, like this. And in them, it has the tools and skills you need. You've just got to then go implement them.
Yeah. And that's the truth, because a lot of this stuff out there that's free, I mean, I've been guilty of it in the past as well. I've downloaded the free stuff. Hell, I've paid for programs and courses and I've done absolutely nothing with it. The key here really comes down to the core of this program today. It's really about doing the work. This program, it's got nothing to do with UPW. It's got nothing to do with Tony Robbins or anything like that. What this comes back to is you being committed to the work, right? Mick, you just said, right? Kerwin's got like 5-6 free different books that you can download, and they will make a difference when you put the effort in. When you do the work, you will get the results. Richmond Din, same thing. What did he do? He's got an amazing 10-day boot camp that he runs, right? He teaches you how to get clients within that 10 days, and his shit works. And guess what? It's free. Like, there's a lot of people that really do truly have some real absolute gold out there. All it takes is not Richmond, not Kerwin, not me standing on that stage. What it takes is you as the person to actually double down, do the work, and then receive all the rewards. This is no different than Tony Robbins standing on stage, right? Getting you in that state, giving you some of those tools. It's up to you to maintain that effort. It's up to you to maintain that state, to take it to a whole nother level. Without that, I'm sorry, you won't get the results. It comes down to commitment.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jamie. And look, you get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. The work you do, you know, you see people who are super successful and like, oh, they're so lucky. They've got all the riches, or they're so healthy and fit, but you don't see them do the work. They're there because they've done the work. That's what it's all about. This whole show is about the commitment and doing the work, putting in the effort. If you don't put in the effort, you get nothing out of it. It's that simple. It doesn't matter how good the coach is, how good the mentor is, how good the program is, how good anything is. If you don't do the work, or you don't put in the effort and the commitment, then you won't get the results. It's that simple.
Yeah. I think a great way to say that is your results, your absolute ultimate results, are in direct proportion to the willingness and effort you put towards them. Right? That's a great way to think about it. Whatever you put in, you will get out. Whatever you put in, you will get out. And with patience, you'll get even more out, because that's the idea of it all, to grow those businesses, to scale them, to get to that place where you've got just such a highly functioning team that you can step out of the business. And I mean out of it. Right? My goal for each and every one of my clients is to be able to sit on that lounger with that pina colada in their hand, sipping it back, knowing that the business is absolutely crushing it without them being there. That's my goal. That's my passion. That's my purpose for each and every one of the clients that I work with, to get into that place. Now, if you're a business operator out there, you're working in the business. You're doing everything. You're doing everything from taking out the garbage to cleaning the floors to serving clients to doing the books and accounting and all that. What's the opportunity for you? Find someone who's done it. Find someone who's got the keys to success. Learn from them. Figure out how you can start stepping back from some of those tasks so you can actually start working on the business, not swamped in the business. Begin backing yourself out. Build it into something that you could actually turn around and sell. And then now you've got something that you can work with.
Absolutely, Jamie. And I know a person who's really, really, really awesome at that. It's this guy. So that's, you know, we've got to get there, take action, find someone who's done what you want to do. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's health, fitness, business, personal development, bloody, you name it, relationships. There's so many amazing people out there who have done these things. Go find one of them and successfully find who's got the keys to the vault.
Yeah. And here's what's great. If you don't know, reach out to Mick or I. All right. When it comes to fitness and stuff, I'm not going to be the guy. However, we both know someone who is. Andy Bassett. Guy's a freaking rock star, and we can get him working with you if it's fitness, anything like that related, helping you grow that business. Maybe you've got a fitness business that you're looking to grow. He's done it and he's become insanely successful in it. Why not learn from someone like that? Someone who can go and make that massive difference for you. It makes sense. We've got the connections. We truly want to help. It's why we started this show. It's not to sell. Absolutely. It's not to promote. It's not to do any of that shit. It's to actually give this business knowledge out there, but most importantly, connect others with who they need to be connected with. Relationship coaching, it's not going to be me. I'm not going to be the one that's doing, intimate love relationship coaching, but guess what? I know someone who is an absolute rock star at it, and I wouldn't even hesitate to recommend that through. That's the power of proximity, getting in connection with those people and knowing those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, and we've talked about this many times on the show and why people join masterminds, and it's so they can put in the work, the accountability, and to have access, proximity to all the people that you need, having access to people that have done what you've done, having access to people that complement you, that give you the skills and tools you don't have.
Yeah.
that's why people join these masterminds, have these programs, join community groups or organizations or networks. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, no question. With that, we have shared an absolute ton today. So when you read that headline, why Tony Robbins UPW won't help you, guess what, guys? It's not Tony. It's got absolutely nothing to do with Tony whatsoever. Tony's a freaking rock star. He gets up there, he serves and delivers like no other. What gets you the results is you. Take a look at what you're doing. Take a look at your habits. Take a look at maybe who you need to incorporate in your life to get you to that next level, and then go and do something about it. It's going to be the biggest, simplest, quickest, fastest way that you can grow your business, get your life to exactly where you know it deserves to be.
Absolutely. And you said it just before, Tony Robbins is a rock star. And you know why he's not a rock star? Because he's put in thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of work. That's why he's a freaking rock star. That's why he can deliver at the level he does, because he puts in the work. No one, you can't avoid the work. There's no magic pill. Sorry about that, guys. Ruined that for you. There's no magic pill. You got to do the work. With that said, guys, I think we shared a ton of value. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you to everyone who watched the show today. Really, really appreciate it. Super grateful. And I hope you got a ton of value. Have an amazing weekend.
Absolutely. Anything you guys need, reach out. We're here. Send us a message, whatever it takes. We will do whatever humanly possible to get you connected with those right resources. We'll see you in a week.